right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today is Friday, July 25th, 2025. This is episode 927 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, as always, Dr. Gerald Auger. And over the next hour, me, you, Jenny Housley, Kyle, finally back in the chair, Steve Young, Deb Grady, James Bender, J Star, Jonathan Carpenter. We're all going to be sharing the top cybersecurity news stories of the day, and I'll be doing everything in my power to go through those stories, obviously give you the headline and the high-level surface information, but going beneath the headlines to tap into the 20 years of experience I have and give you value beyond that you can weaponize for your own benefit, whether it's crushing a job interview or delivering cyber risk reduction value to your business stakeholders. That's what we're doing. Now, we are going to go through 8 stories, as I can show you here on stream. Here, SonicWall patching, FBI giving alerts about swatting and ransomware. We got stories for days, everyone. But I want you to know I haven't researched or prepped for any of them. That's right. Ain't nobody got time for that. So you're going to be getting my authentic improvisational hot takes on all of these topics. And basically, I'm going to give you what I got. It's raw, it's authentic, and it is all about service. This is Simply Cyber, and I am super pumped that you are here. Now, I want to let you know that every single day of the week has a special segment, and Fridays is none other than James McQuiggan's dad jokes of the of the week, but it's James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. You can see James' 31-month celebration in chat right now. Just keeps getting better and better. Looking forward to Team SC at Hacker Summer Camp. So am I, James McQuiggan. If you do see this beautiful man walking around Hacker Summer Camp, Black Hat, DEF CON, any of the conferences, he does attend quite a few throughout the year. Do say hello to him. I saw a picture of him and Steve Young not too long ago. So there is James McQuiggan sightings all over the place. Now, I want you to know, if this show is for practitioners as well as people looking to break into the industry. So believe that there's value for you here. James McQuiggan with 10 gifted subs to the community. Thanks, James McQuiggan. Love it, love it, love it, guys. If you're one of those gifted sub recipients like Travis Connor, Andres Molina from South America, Alan Woodrum, and others, do say hello. Tip your hat, if you will, to one James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. Guys, we got a great show for you. I am all jazzed up. Got my coffee flowing. I hope you do too. Now, before we get into it, let me just say one quick shout out to a sponsor. I'm going to spread the sponsors out a little bit today. I had some constructive feedback from a user on Reddit yesterday that I'm going to try to implement here. So let's just do a quick little shout out to Antisyphon Training, one of the stream sponsors. Antisyphon Training is disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by offering high quality, cutting edge education to everyone, regardless of financial position. I'd love to introduce you to their Blue Team Summit. This is a 5-hour free cybersecurity virtual conference that anyone can attend for $0. You will get value if you do attend this. Believe that. So all I would say is it costs nothing to sign up. Sign up, get it on your calendar. If something comes up, then something comes up. But at least take the steps to get it on your calendar. I just dropped a link below. Thank you, Antisyphon Training. First sponsor spot. We're going to sprinkle them throughout the show. Guys, I want you to know every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth half a CPE. So say what's up in chat. Grab a screenshot. Once a year, count the screenshots, divide by 2. It's just that easy. You see right above. What happened to chat? You guys, is chat frozen right now? Hello? Hello? Oh, there we go. Just say what's up in chat. It's right above my head. You'll be on screen. You can see the ticker across the bottom says the episode number. The name of the show has the date in it. Get all of that in your screenshot. DP can do it. Look at that. DP, good morning, hashtag Team SC 62525. Just once a year, count the screenshots. Make sure that the certification body does accept instructor-led webinars, which is what this basically is. My hair is killing me. Yeah, we're off and running, everybody. So do me a favor. If today's your first episode, drop a hashtag first timer in chat. What's up, Wes Bryan? Good to see you. Drop a hashtag first timer in chat. We are going to run the Threat Locker ad, and then we're going to get right into it. So 2 ads pre-show, we do have news for you, okay? Believe that. This is, the Reddit user said I sounded like I was all coked up and I didn't talk about the news. So, although the Reddit user did respond afterwards and said that he or she has been a longtime listener since that first episode. So it is what it is. I'm trying to make this as good for everybody as possible. So let's listen from ThreatLocker really quickly, and then we're going to get into the news. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com. All right, we're 6 minutes in, so we're going to get right into the news, and then we'll do a couple more ads. We'll do all the fun things. We'll do James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. 6 minutes in, we're into the news. Let's go. Oh, hold on. You guys can't hear the audio? Hold on. All right, hold on 1 second. Thank you, squad members, for hollering at me. Let's get this sorted out ASAP. All right, here we go. Oh, did you guys even hear the music then? Did you guys listen? I played Lover Boys, Everyone's Working for the Weekend to start the show. I was flipping out. You guys did not hear that. Okay, so for the because listen, I had oh my god. Okay, so for the individual who said I was all ripped up on snow and getting after it, let me just do this. Listen, I started the show this way. Okay, I started the show this way. All right, so everybody get all jacked up on that, okay? It's like, all right.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Friday, July 20th.
It's brutal, dude, because it's like a perfectly good copyright strike I whiffed on.
2025.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. Hey, I am so sorry, okay? I am incredibly sorry. My dog is going to rip through my mother-in-law's door here. It's an ongoing problem I struggle with. Just give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Dr. Pepper, not a doctor or a Pepper, discuss. Give me like 15 seconds. Okay, I am back. And if you want at Jawjacking, I'm happy to talk about it. Okay.
I'm Steve Prentice. SonicWall announces SMA 100 patches. Following up on a story we covered last week, network security company SonicWall announced on Wednesday the release of patches for a critical vulnerability in Secure Mobile Access SMA 100 series secure access gateways. The company recommends that customers take immediate action following the recent overstep malware attacks. This new flaw has a CVE number and a CVSS score of 9.1. It is described as, quote, an arbitrary file upload issue in the SMA 100's web management interface, end quote, which could allow for remote code execution by attackers who already have access to administrative privileges.
Okay. In my experience, SonicWall is very much like a small, mid-sized business appliance. The only times I've ever seen it implemented in like real life, you know what I mean, like in practice, is where MSP, like small MSPs, like, you know, like 3-4 person MSPs are servicing like small businesses in town. Like, and when I say small business, the couple instances were like 25, 30 employees, like a dermatology clinic, an insurance company. So, and it's like, you know, in a server closet where it's basically just like there's a mop bucket and like a shelf with some hardware into it. This is where I've seen it. So anyways, the point is typically where you see these devices deployed in my experience are not, you know, not highly secured facilities to begin with. No disrespect to the IT people doing the work, but at least in the audit that I performed, you know, it wasn't necessarily the most secure configuration. And now they have 0 days. The good news is, listen, not all 0 days are created equal. You do have to listen and do your research on how bad these things are. GRC Mafia, where you at? Space Tacos is in chat. This one, you already need access to it to be able to exploit, you know, whatever the 0 day is. So it sounds like you elevate your access basically, or you can use non-privileged access to execute privileged commands. So maybe you don't get like a root level account, but you can execute root level commands, right? So like sudo basically. Okay, so as normally you'd want to do this, you want to patch it, right? I mean, like, you gotta patch it. This is particularly SMA 100 series software, and you could see here they listed all in the write-up here. So basically, TLDR, you could scan your network and not realize you have a SonicWall appliance in your environment because you might not get the fingerprint back. You might just see that you have a device. Definitely talk to your networking people if you can. Also, you know, cyber folks here, if you are in a smaller business, chances are you're being asked to do more with less, right? Say, let's just pretend that you're Justin Gold and you're you're the IT person at wastewater, you know, a lifetime ago. Maybe you know, you don't know, like the network got stood up before you got there, and it's just kind of like stabilized. If you haven't seen it yet, go look at the data center. You know what I mean? Go look at the devices. The cool thing about I don't know if this is deliberate. I think it's more from a marketing branding perspective. But the cool thing is most networking devices, whether it's a VPN concentrator, a switch, a firewall, whatever it is, even that stupid Google search thing, I don't know if you guys remember that, but they're normally either color-coded or at minimum, they'll have like a sticker or a label. SonicWall, at least the ones I saw, they're like white lettering with red stripe. It almost looks like it almost looks like it has like an A-team template or an A-team skin applied to it. And if you're playing along at home, Alpha Sierra, Sierra Montgomery, drink for the A-team reference. So TLDR. And by the way, really quickly, the Google thing I'm talking about, at one point you could buy a Google rack and stack appliance, and it looked like a bright yellow piece of Swiss cheese. And the idea was that you could like Google search your internal network for stuff. I don't know if anyone remembers that. That was like, it was like pre-cloud, frankly. It was pre-cloud, but it was big for a hot minute. All right. Google discovered hackers use compromised admin creds to get fully patched appliances and infect them. Well, yeah, of course. Here's the thing. Listen, this is a pro tip for everybody in chat, especially like junior people. You can exploit a 0 day if you have an exploit to do it, but a fully patched system, if you have admin creds, you can access it and do whatever you want. That's the point of the admin credential. So don't think that, oh, it's patched, we're good to go. Like, change the default creds. Like, I can't even believe I have to say in 2025, change the default creds. Like, personally, it's a hill I want to die on. It pisses me off that, like, it is not a standard approach to have the credentials changed on initialization. Like, you shouldn't be able to use an appliance in production without the very first thing being change the admin code. And I get it. Sometimes you change it and then you forget it and you can't log in later and it's a big problem. Well, guess what? Freaking get better password management, right? Or use hardware keys or do something. Default creds. Get out of here with that.
The FBI warns about the COM, a mass criminal organization. The COM, that is THECOM, 2 words, is a, quote, loosely organized cybercriminal organization, end quote, that launches cyber attacks to steal money and gain access to sensitive information. The Bureau says, quote, the COM is composed primarily of English-speaking minors, but has expanded to include thousands of people who engage in a variety of cybercriminal activities, end quote. They add, quote, that the group's sophistication has grown over the last 4 years, with subjects employing increasingly complex methods to mask their identities, hide financial transactions, and launder money, end quote. Minors are recruited since being underage promises less harsh penalties if caught. Scattered Spider, known for a number of high-profile attacks this year, is an affiliate of this group.
All right. So I haven't heard of the COM. Dude, they're trying to recruit members through gaming sites targeting 11 to 25-year-olds. I find that range of number particularly interesting because I actually just read some research recently that shows that at least the male brain, and ladies, I know it's all about equity here. I would assume that it's probably similar for ladies, but the study was for men only. Your brain doesn't fully develop until you're like 25, roughly. So, to say you're an adult at 18, you're still making poor life choices. And I can say from firsthand experience, I was about 25 before I really had my crap together. 19-year-old Jerry, 20-year-old Jerry was not making the best choice. Like, just what are you doing, guy? Like, so anyways, they're impressionable, and the promise of money, the promise of free Fortnite skins and Counter-Strike skins is probably quite appealing. The good news is the FBI is on it, so
regulators, mount up.
I will say that the idea that you're recruiting children because they'll get less harsh penalties, I honestly think that might be the case. But I feel like children are more likely to rat you out, right, as best they can. And you're going to get a harsher penalty, whoever's like the ringleaders of this criminal organization, because you're basically recruiting children, right? And no one's digging on that. So anyways, Scattered Spider, as we know, is, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like braggadocious and quasi-arrogant, very, very like blunt in the way that they execute their cyber attacks. So famously, they're the ones for the MGM Grand Caesar Resorts a couple years ago. So, it is what it is. Finally, all I'll say is, if this is true, okay, I mean, look at what they're doing, man. Ransomware attacks, that's fine. Swatting, extortion, distribution of CSAM, distributed denial of service attacks, crypto theft, SIM swapping. It's basically like, a cornucopia of cyber criminal activity. But it'd be shorter list if you said what they weren't doing. So I don't know. We'll see. This is not good. I will say that because this looks like something that's turning into more of a problem. And hackers, let's say 18 to 25-year-old hackers are a bit more reckless. There are ones that are more elegant, but they are in general reckless. So this could become like a civil problem or a social problem. Yeah. So we'll see. Right now, it's very meta. Like child exploitation is very in the news right now if you've been following the United States news cycles. So I could see this getting elevated priority in like the zeitgeist. Let's keep going.
Compromised Amazon Q extension told AI to delete everything. A hacker whose apparent intent was to expose bad security practices succeeded somewhat by compromising the official Amazon Q extension for Visual Code Studio to add a prompt to use an AI agent to wipe a user's home directory and delete all their AWS resources. According to a report from 404 Media, the hacker, quote, submitted a pull request to the AWS repository from a random account with no existing access, end quote, and was given admin credentials. They said that AWS then released the compromised package, quote, completely oblivious, end quote. Amazon quickly removed the unapproved code and the hacker's credentials, but no explanation of how this happened has yet been released.
All right, so this is actually really interesting. This is actually really, really interesting. Couple things here. Hold on one second. I'm getting a message. First of all, 404 Media, the group that's reporting on this, phenomenal journalism, phenomenal cyber and tech journalism. So if you're looking for like a really awesome resource, definitely check them out. Like in my mind, they don't do what Darknet Diaries does. Darknet Diaries is a podcast that's awesome, and Jack tells a story of something that happened. But like when I think of like the quality of Darknet Diaries, like 404 Media's got that like level of quality and like legitimacy. So anyways, I'm a big fan. Second of all, this is a really interesting attack. Okay, so as you know, AI is going to do what AI is programmed to do. Like AI might be able to give itself like an Australian voice and be like, you know, hey, good day, mate. Like I'm your buddy. Like tell me what to do, and I'll write social media posts for you, or I'll help you like balance your checkbook, like whatever. Okay, but it'll do whatever you tell it to do. So this is kind of an evolution of a common attack technique. So common attack technique is for threat actors to download open source code or do pull requests on open source code and add malware to them. We just saw a story yesterday of a JavaScript library in NPM getting compromised to do info stealing and data exfil. We see it in GitHub. We see it in whatever the Visual Studio library is. I don't even remember. But we see it all the time. This one is more interesting because Marcus Kyler, love it. Thanks for the 31 months, Marcus. This one's interesting because basically the hacker is configuring the AI to do it. So now you basically, this is like weaponizing an insider threat, right? And the AI isn't going to tell you like, oh, hey, like some random person gave me some random code to do something that could be bad, because the AI doesn't really know one way or the other. Now, they say in the little call out box here that the code probably wouldn't have worked at wiping the information from the service. But to me, that's not the story. The story is the technique and the implementation of this technique at scale. Guys, AI is everywhere. It's not going anywhere. We just like the internet is everywhere in the year 2000, right? Like it's not going anywhere. It's going to be fully baked into our society and the way that we function. Sadly, it's probably going to increase the digital divide between haves and have-nots on access to AI and the ability to improve your life situation. But this is it. So I would say if you're an aspiring security researcher, this is definitely a promising area to check out. If you're an aspiring, gray hat, right? If you're a self-proclaimed mercenary in the cyberspace, I'm thinking of one particular person. This technique could be quite useful for, basically having a guy, quote unquote, a guy on the inside.
Shall we play a game?
All right, really quick, I do want to go back to this story about the FBI talking about the COM and the COM recruiting children 11 to 25. Dan Reardon, aka the Haircut Fish, actually made a really great observation, and I do want to say shout out to Dan. This was literally the same method that Shredder used in the original TMNT movie from the 90s. Shout out to 90s culture, drink. But yeah, like Shredder, like that was the entire premise of the movie, was that he was recruiting kids and giving them like a skate park and pizza parties in exchange for committing crime. So, like this story's been played out before. The problem is we don't have access to 4 mutant Ninja Turtles in a sensei rat to be able to take care of this. But I guess first let's start with April O'Neil and we'll see what happens.
WordPress backdoor hides inside MU plugin. A new backdoor has been discovered in WordPress must-use plugins, also known as MU plugins, one that will give threat actors, quote, persistent access and allow them to perform arbitrary actions, end quote. These plugins are automatically activated on all WordPress sites in the installation and are stored in the WP-content MU plugins directory. They do not show up in the default list of plugins on the plugins page of WP admin and cannot be disabled except by removing the plugin file from the must-use directory. The backdoor itself, a PHP script, was discovered by web security company Securi.
All right, hold on one second. Chuck Sapp, I'm asking Dan if he can help me. All right, so WordPress, dude, WordPress for days. WordPress has been around forever. And by forever, like whatever, 15, 20 years. It's notoriously, it's like Android operating system in that it allows you to configure it however you want, and it gives you all the versatility of having your own website without any of the, hey, move nerd, like webmaster, kind of understanding HTML and all that. It's very much like a point and click kind of thing. But the problem is, just like, Google Chrome extensions, these plugins allow you to extend functionality, but they can be riddled with bugs and introduce either malware directly into your website or definitely increase your attack surface, which then could be weaponized. So this particular plugin, two things about it. Number one, when you go into a WordPress admin panel, you can actually see a list of all the plugins that you have enabled, just like Google Chrome extensions. You can see what you have. And you can disable those plugins. This particular set of plugins does not show up there. So, this is kind of like having a hidden process or a hidden service on your Windows operating system, right? You can't just look at services and see what's going on there. Let's see. Threat actors get a persistent access, arbitrary action. Sure. Looks like these must-use plugins don't show up on the default list of plugins by default. Let's see. You do get a in the infection spotted by web security company. The PHP script serves as a loader to fetch the next stage payload. Okay. They use ROT13, which is a basic encoding, right? I mean, I wouldn't even call it encryption, but basically this is old school. This is the Caesar cipher if you're playing a CTF. All right, we got a little source code action. And you can just read this. This is pretty straightforward. Bot protect PHP, okay, whatever. It does write the malware to disk, though, which is kind of sloppy, right? If you have EDR, when you see things get written to disk, that's one thing that EDR will look at and check. So there's a bunch. Here's the deal. If you're running WordPress, you should check this out. There's a lot of defense in depth opportunities here. Number one, you can check the file system to see if these plugins are actually there. There will be a file that you can check for. Number two, it has to reach out to a C2 node to pull down second stage payloads. You will see that in your network logs. Firewall, could block that. It writes the malware to disk. Naughty. So when you see it get written to disk, you can catch it then. And then obviously there's a persistence mechanism. So it does reach out to that C2. Even if you don't have a firewall that catches it, reaching out to that C2 or the threat actor has some type of I doubt it's advanced in this case, but like some criminals or, red teamers or whatever will actually have like a more dynamic C2 node reaching out. So it'll pull like different, domain generated algorithm sites. But you know what they will show? They'll show beaconing because it'll be reaching out on a consistent cadence typically. So yeah. So, that's the deal with that. Thank you very much, Haircut Fish. I think what Chuck Sapp is asking, like I'm literally verbalizing what is in mod chat because I can't type it right now. I think Chuck Sapp's looking for like the shredder hidden base where the kids were like skateboarding and doing all the things. They do like a pan of the whole room until they stop on the redhead kid who's like the, our character who like is just a misguided youth. All right.
Thanks to our sponsor, Nudge Security. Here's the thing. Your employees are signing up for new apps, sharing data, and connecting tools together, often without anyone knowing. What if you could continuously discover when people start using new apps or sharing data, and then prompt them with security guidance right when and where they are working? At Nudge Security, we call that securing the workforce edge. Instead of trying to control everything, which, let's face it, is impossible, we give IT and security teams the visibility they need and automation to guide employees toward secure behaviors. The result? Your workforce stays productive, your data stays secure, and you can finally get some sleep at night. Learn more at nudgesecurity.com/workforceedge. That is Nudge Security, 2 words, together, .com/workforce edge, together as well.
All right. Hey, here we go. All right. Hey, really quick, want to say shout out and thanks to the stream sponsors, Barricade Cyber Solutions with their Fortify 365 solution. Guys, strengthen your Microsoft environment alongside Barricade Cyber Solutions. If you run a Microsoft 365 environment and you haven't taken the time to properly configure it, you might not have the time, you might not have the knowledge to do it yourself, you may not know where to go. You may have taken a hack at it but not really know. You're already paying for all these security controls. If you're not implementing them, you're taking unnecessary risk. Get with Barricade Cyber Solutions and execute their Fortify 365 service where they'll come in and basically configure and harden your M365 environment, and more importantly, explain to you what they're doing, how they're doing it, so they can set you up for success. They don't just feed you a fish, they also teach you how to fish. BarricadeCyber.com/Fortify-365 to get more information. Links in the description below. I also want to say shout out to Delete Me. Right now, the headlines are chock full of data breaches and regulatory rollbacks making us all vulnerable, but you can do something about it. Delete Me is here to make it quick, easy, and safe to remove your personal data online. Want an easier way to deal with data breaches? Get Delete Me. The fact is, we're all at risk. How many times have you gotten an email or a letter saying your data's been breached? It's unsettling, but the good news is Delete Me can help. As someone with an active online presence, privacy is really important to me because I value my children and my wife's safety, and having my home address readily available for anyone to pull down, especially since I'm quote unquote a public figure, is a little concerning for me. So I do want to take care of that, and Delete Me helps me. Take control of your data, keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me now, and a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/simplycyber. Use promo code simplycyber at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/simplycyber, enter code simplycyber at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/simplycyber, code simplycyber. Thank you very much. Every single day of the week has a special segment, and Fridays is James O'Quigan at 35,000 Feet's Jokes of the Week, dad jokes. Now listen, it's been a crazy non-stop week here, and it's been rough with the passing of Theo Huxtable, a.k.a. Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan just yesterday. So here's something to lighten the mood. Why are the eyes the last part of the body to die? Why are the eyes the last part of the body to die? Well, if you didn't know, they dilate. They dilate. Oh my God. By the way, just so everybody knows, I do not read these jokes in advance on purpose. What's the middle of every city or town? What's in the middle? What's in the middle of every city and town? The cemetery. It's dead center. It is dead center. And why are cemeteries so popular? Why are cemeteries so popular? Guys, if you didn't know, people are dying to get into cemeteries. It's crazy what's going on there. All right, thank you, James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet for those rib ticklers. Be sure to catch James McQuiggan at a conference near you. Alpha Sierra, lead us off with the la 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 laws. Let's go. All right, let's get back to the news, y'all.
Brave blocks Windows recall from screenshotting browsing activity. The makers of Brave software says its browser, already well known for privacy features, will block Microsoft's Windows' new recall product from capturing screenshots of Brave Windows. The feature will be active by default. Facing up to widespread criticism, Microsoft has added an opt-out feature to some Windows packages, but this action from Brave marks a first step in blocking the feature out of the gate by setting the Set Input Scope API to is private for all browser windows.
Okay. I mean, this is cool. Brave is a web browser. And it's big on privacy. So if you are interested in privacy and taking steps to protect yourself in your online, activity, Brave is what to check out. Okay, I feel like Firefox used to be that way, and then Firefox slowly, straight cash, homie. And then of course Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, all those things. But yeah, Brave's the one for that. Just fun fact, I started trying to use Comet browser. I got an invite to that. I've been trying it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm so used to Chrome that it's hard for me to figure it out. But yeah, shout out to Brave. This is what the browser looks like. And Windows recall is coming. Remember, people lost their mind in our industry. People lost their mind about Windows recall. And Microsoft did, the Tennessee two-step and kind of tap danced backwards on Windows recall, which basically if you don't know, Windows recall basically takes screenshots of your computer every 15 seconds or something like that, or every 5 seconds, and it allows a visual history of what's going on. There could be some backups as well. I think there's backups, but I know the screenshots are there, and obviously people are like, what the hell, man? If I type in something sensitive, if I'm viewing something sensitive, right? You can be into your weird kinks and stuff. No one, if it doesn't harm anyone, then whatever. But just do you. But some people want that to be private, right? Or, hey, I'm trying to find a special gift for my wife for our anniversary, and I don't want her to be able to, do data forensics and figure out what I'm going to get her for a gift, something like that. So people were pissed off, and Brave's doing something about it. The good news is there is an API call that allows you to disable that. So just because Brave's doing it doesn't mean anyone else can't do it. So be mindful of that. Also, by the way, it doesn't surprise me that there are API calls, but I could envision some type of so Mark Tape, this is a bit of a hot take, okay? I mean, this is a lukewarm take, okay? And if you're a first timer here, anytime I go kind of off the reservation, squad members will use this tinfoil hat emote. Dude, if I was a threat actor, I wouldn't try to go find the recall screenshots. I would just tap into that API and make that part of my malware payload to take screenshots using that API, aka living off the land, and use that information to either commit espionage or to more understand who my victim is. Because a lot of times threat actors will compromise an asset and not even realize who they got, because they're basically just spraying and praying and hoping when they get something good.
CISA adds Crush FTP, Google Chromium, and sysaid flaws to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog. This joint action follows a Crush FTP warning of a 0-day with a CVSS score of 9.0 that has been exploited since July 18th, along with 6 Google Chrome flaws, including 1 actively exploited in the wild, and 3 flaws from SysAid, that is SYSAID. CISA orders federal agencies to fix the vulnerabilities by August 12th of this year.
All right. I mean, this is just a roundup. You gotta patch it. Okay. Vulnerability roundup. They are being actively exploited. Really quick, if today's your first episode of episode 927, right now, if you found us somehow, welcome to the party, pal. Let us know in chat with a hashtag first timer. I'm not asking you to identify yourself as a first timer so we can gang jump you. You know what I mean? Jump you into this crew, right? We're not gonna just circle around you and beat you up. We want to welcome you properly. We have a special welcome protocol for newcomers to make them feel extra welcome. So drop a hashtag first timer in chat. For you guys who are not first timers, we talked about this Crush FTP earlier in the week. SysAid I never heard of. Google Chromium, everyone's using that. That's also the underpinning for Microsoft Edge and Google Chrome. These browsers are wicked easy to patch and update. You just literally click the 3 buttons and do, I think is it under more or help, right? About Google Chrome. Here, I'll do it right now. Up to date. This guy's winning. All right. See how committed I am? I'm willing to do this live on stream. Bring down my entire browser that I'm using to drive the show for the sake of demonstrating I eat the same dog food that I pitch to you guys. Now, really quick, of all these, the Crush FTP one's pretty gnarly, but I don't use Crush FTP. I use Google Chrome, though. So let's look up the Chrome score on EPSS. This is pretty gnarly, 2% chance in the next 30 days of getting hit, but an 83 percentile, meaning of the hundreds of thousands of vulnerabilities in the EPSS database, this one is 83% worse than all the others. Let's see, you can get into the GPU and angle, allowing a remote attacker to perform a sandbox escape via crafted HTML page. So basically, threat actor has an HTML page, sends you a link or an email or whatever to that page. I would assume that there's no interaction required by the victim, and the machine just gets compromised, and then they're probably able to do some exfil on your box. Eric Taylor, it looks like the word integrity impact is missing the I, or it's cut off somehow. I see part of the C. I don't know what's going on here, but there's definitely some clipping going on your spider chart here. All right. Anyways, patch your stuff.
Mitel warns of critical MyVoice MX1 authentication bypass flaw. Mitel Networks has, quote, released security updates to patch a critical severity authentication bypass vulnerability impacting this MyVoice MX1 enterprise communications platform, end quote. This is an SIP-based communications system that stands for Session Initiation Protocol, which can scale to support hundreds of thousands of users. According to Bleeping Computer, quote, the critical security flaw is due to an improper access control weakness discovered in the MyVoice MX1 provisioning manager component and has yet to be assigned a CVE ID. Unauthenticated attackers can exploit it in low-complexity attacks that do not require user action to gain unauthorized access to administrator accounts on unpatched systems.
All right, I'm not familiar with Mitel, and I've heard of it, but I don't really know where it's deployed or provisioned. It says it's an enterprise communication platform, so I'm assuming it's pretty big. You know what I mean? I don't know where it is. Sean Sailors, yeah, I recommend Bitwarden. Bitwarden is my recommendation. I do know people who work at 1Password, and they seem to think it's good, so you could probably not go wrong with either of those. So MX1 is the SIP-based communication system, not to be confused with SIP pass, right? It's more of a whatever acronym. TLDR, don't expose the MX1 services directly to the internet. I feel like this is pretty much a standard practice. Like anything else, this MX1 service probably has a fingerprint strong recommendation. It has a fingerprint and can be identified using Shodan.io. Great tool to find assets on the internet. These bugs have not been identified as exploited in the wild, but it's just a matter of time, honestly. And that just because they haven't been reported as exploited in the wild does not mean that they haven't been exploited, right? So, good morning, Mike. I like it. Hey, Mike. I'm going to say hi to Mike. Hi. Okay. All right. Anyways, I wish I had more information. I don't really know much about Mitel. If someone has info on Mitel, sure. But this seems like a standard run-of-the-mill. Ah, you gotta patch it.
Fake Dalai Lama apps spy on Tibetan community. Devotees who wanted to send a note of good wishes to the spiritual leader as his 90th birthday approached on July the 6th were unwittingly targeted by a China-affiliated cyber espionage group using two campaigns named by Zscaler Threat Labs as Operation Ghost Chat and Operation Phantom Prayers. These both were standard watering hole operations, redirecting users from a legitimate but compromised website to a fraudulent one. One of these offered a replica page. This replica page offered the option for well-wishers to send an encrypted greeting by downloading a secure chat application, which ultimately was the launch vector for a remote access Trojan.
Okay. Okay. So initially I was like, how could you fall for this? Okay. But here we go. If you guys didn't know really quickly, I am certainly not well-versed in all of the international goings-ons, but as much as China is not a big fan of Taiwan, they're all, for similar reasons, they're not a fan of Tibet. And the Dalai Lama is, kind of the religious / de facto leader of Tibet. And China's well aware of that. So they have, I do, again, I'm not a big fan of this particular situation, but as an academic, as someone who freaking loves cybersecurity, I do want to recognize objectively what they've done here and give China a little bit of a hat tip. Again, I don't condone or endorse this attack. I'm just, the execution of it's pretty good. They, instead of like sending out mass phishing emails or spam signal telegram messages to people they think are fans of the Dalai Lama in Tibet, they took over a trusted website. Okay. So they took over a trusted website. So the people going to the website are like, oh yeah, this is super legit. And then they swapped out a download, or they made a download available of a malware that allows spying, right? So essentially spyware. And then they use social engineering to convince people to download it. So you're on a trusted website, so you're feeling pretty good about yourself. You have the ability to download something and send the Dalai Lama himself a birthday greeting, which, by the way, is like, what are we doing here? Like, I get it, but like, that's what you're going to fall for. So you can send the Dalai Lama a birthday greeting. Dalai Lama's, probably not going to get it. And now they have eyes on who is pro-Tibet, who is interested in the Dalai Lama. You could even weaponize this further by having reverse communications like, oh, hi, I'm the Dalai Lama's representative. We'd love for you to, send us money. We'd love for you to like go to this particular address at this particular time. And then, quote unquote, like, and not included, but so we can round you up and, put you in jail or whatever. So a lot of nefarious opportunities here, but objectively, taking over a trusted website to then host the malware is pretty clever. If you were a cyber mercenary, I've studied cyber mercenaries, okay? They have said that it is best practice to compromise, like not your initial target, right? I'm probably not going to do this service, but you can instead of compromising your initial target, you compromise like a ring around that target, trusted things that target knows, people that target knows, services that target knows, sites that target knows, and then you use the trust of those outer ring to get the target infected and compromised and taken over and all that other stuff. So very, very much a standard best practice as far as like advanced level threats go and executing those threats. Space Tacos is activating lurker mode. Have a great day, a great weekend, Space Tacos. All right. Yeah, so anyways, hold on. We've got to hold on here. Ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't ready for this. Is it getting warm in here? Oh my God. Oh. Whew. My goodness, gosh. Somebody. The vapors. Oh, I do declare, Mr. Devereaux. Whew. Mr. Beauregard, that infographic is delightful. All right, so let's look at what we got here. Compromised asset redirects to the Dalai Lama 90.nickcenter.net. Like immediately, you should see that domain name and be like, what are we up to here? Then that redirects to tbelementnickcenter.net where they download the zip archive. At this point, their warning signs are going off, bro. But then you can see here the zip splits into several things. They have the element.exe, which I assume is a whatever the payload, like the element.exe, the top, the middle row, far right, that's probably the Trojan, right? So that's going to execute whatever the threat actors told you it was going to execute. That's another thing. If you're going to like be good at, crime or whatever, like have your payloads for initial infection be Trojanized so your victim doesn't realize that they're running malware. Then they sideload a DLL, the FFmpeg. That's a wicked popular like audio video DLL. I see it all the time. And then it injects it into the image devices.exe. I don't even know what that's for. And then boom, you got yourself your ghost rat. And you see the back and forth in the bottom left. That is C2 communications, both inbound and outbound of the ghost remote access tool and the Chinese controlled C2 infrastructure. So this right here, this is a chef's kiss, academic, perfect case study on cyber kill chain and how they do it. You don't see the reconnaissance phase of the cyber kill chain, but just it's implied that the victims are pro-Tibet. All righty, look at us, guys. So I feel like I forgot something today because we are finishing 8 minutes early. And to the Reddit user who is a regular listener in the car, if you go back on Reddit and give me some feedback, let me know if you liked this show's format a little better than yesterday. I typically slam all 4 ads at the beginning just so we can kind of address them and move on. All right, let's go. All righty, y'all. Hey, guess what? That is your daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I was your host, Dr. Gerald Auger. I hope you got so much value from this that you're like literally, there's like literally value falling out of your arms. You look like you're, March 2020 trying to run out of Target with toilet paper, loose rolls, and there's just like rolls falling out of your arms. That's how much value I want you to get. I want you to be like, oh my God, like, there was so much value. I left value behind. That's what we're doing here. Hashtag Team SC. Have a great weekend, everybody. If you'd like additional value, we are about to pivot to the daily, to Jawjacking. And it's Friday. The Pain likes this one. On Fridays, we do a panel. Not just me, not just Eric, not just Tyler. We do a panel full of practitioners. So get some of that. Don't go anywhere. I'll take care of transitioning you. If you got to get out of here, chill out. Have a good one. Rest, relax this weekend. Otherwise, let's keep the train going. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Until next time. Oh my gosh, bro. Stay secure. Thank you. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking. All right, what's up, everybody? Want to give a shout out to all y'all. We're doing Jawjacking. Let me get my glasses so it's official. I was Dr. Gerald Auger, but in the evenings, I turn into Gerald. Just is you ask questions, no question is off limits, no question is considered noob. Whatever it is you want answers, we got you got questions, we got answers, okay? We're gonna the panel right now. Right now, I only have Fleetus Post in the third on the panel, but his camera is off, so I'm going to assume he's not ready. So I will answer questions until we fill up the panel. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry. Gerald Auger, that nerd. Okay, hold on. Are we frozen? Okay, here we go. Fleetus Post in the third, coming on hot. What's
Happy
up,
Friday, everyone.
What's up, dude? How you doing? Oh my God, that was loud in my ear. All right, Fleetus, how was your week, dude?
So far, so good.
All right, I love it. Ooh, okay, we're joined by none other than Florida's own. Some people call him Florida Man. His mom calls him Florida Man. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Lowry.
I'm here to drink beer and have a good time, Jerry. That's all I know. America.
All right, guys, we're also being we're also being joined by digital forensics expert Eric Taylor. Let's bring him on. Hey, Eric.
What's
how you doing?
up?
All right, guys.
Man,
so
who's
we
got the
got
echo?
first of all, super chat. James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. Very excited for the next episode of Simply Secured at 9:30 today. The awesome Bruce and Hacks will be sharing his insights. 9:30 raids. That's right. So the panel, just like all Jawjackings, will be 30 minutes long. Just so I set expectations for everybody, Fleetus is a SOC analyst, SOC manager, lots of experience. Daniel Lowry, instructor, offensive security practitioner, and knows a lot of hardware hacking. Eric Taylor, chief forensics officer, digital forensics, incident response type stuff. And then I am your GRC play-by-play and color commentator. I can run both roles. I just have to remove the glasses. Get your questions in chat, and we're going to get cooking. Great to have everyone here. Thanks for jumping on the panel, y'all.
Happy
Oh my
to
God.
echo for you.
Hold on. It says, hold on, let me change. All right, how's that? My audio should be better, and echoes should be removed. Go ahead and say something, Daniel.
Something.
There we go. Thank you.
For the thousands in attendance, and millions watching at home.
Well
right.
played. Well played. Well played.
All right, I'm looking for questions. Here we go. Roswell, UK. Where does China store all this data? There must be some serious collection of data farms somewhere.
Yes.
That is interesting. Fleetus, you said yes. So what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, I was doing your echo. This is probably more for Eric. The limited research I've done, and I'd love to hear back from the rest, is they pull a lot of it offline and then they push it around the world to try to keep it from being caught. That's the little bit that I've seen.
Eric Taylor, you've seen data stores or any thoughts around that you can share publicly?
Yeah, everything that goes filtered through China is, I think we've talked about it numerous times here, that data is required by the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, to filter through their government, right? Everything is stored in their government infrastructure for them to parse through and do what they want to do. Even 0 days, let's just say, Kim Jong Wongong, I don't know, I'm making up a name, found a 0 day in SharePoint, and they are not allowed to disclose that. It's got to go to the Chinese government first, and then they determine what to do with it. So they hold all data. And furthermore, if I can go on a rant, because have y'all been seeing this new TikTok alternative where it's like, oh well, this data will not be go through the overall algorithm that TikTok goes to, but it's still owned by ByteDance, therefore it will still go through China. Like, we're coloring a horse a different color, but don't want to call it a horse still?
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably just marketing and silly branding, but
But the government's going to fall for it, I guarantee you. They're like, oh, it's different now.
exactly. All right, hey, Daniel Lowry, who has done multiple trainings on offensive security, He might even have some updates on some stuff around training and offensive security. But for the moment, Kausu Sila wants to know, is it possible to bypass MFA? Is MFA a silver bullet, Daniel Lowry?
No, unfortunately, MFA is not a silver bullet. It does not perfectly protect you. It does a better job than not having it. So it is something you want, but there are definitely ways around it. There's browser in the browser attacks. There's things like Evil Jinx, especially with Evil Jinx 4 Pro that is out now. It's like does a phenomenal job of basically stealing all the necessary data. Man, it's real fun that you think, oh, I got this MFA install. It's going to be awesome, right? Because that way, if the attacker has my password, they would need my MFA token to be able to authenticate. And you're absolutely right. So what they do is they go, yeah, that is a little conundrum for us. How about this? How about we just get you to go ahead and authenticate and then just steal your authentication token? Because whoever holds the token gets to play the game. So that's how they do. So they got all these built up mechanisms for being able to fish you, get you to authenticate. And when you see those authentication pages, they look legit. And what's fun is they take that information that you input into those authentication pages and they actually forward it on to whatever service you're trying to authenticate to so that you actually authenticate. And it acts as a attacker in the middle, right? They sit in the middle and they go, oh, there's that auth token. Thank you much. I'll pass that on to you. You get logged in. You're none the wiser. You're having a great day. And then they just throw that joker right in their little browser and they have a great time acting as if they were you. So no, it is not a magic bullet. That is is the probably most common way in which they perform that attack. There's
Daniel,
some
if I
really
may.
interesting attacks. Yes, please go, Eric.
Don't put me back up, but for Daniel, the question really was around bypassing MFA. And what you're referring to is jacking the session cookie, being able to replay it and get back into it. I have my own opinion, but have you seen the traditional MFA itself being bypassed?
There have been. It just depends on. I have. It depends on the implementation of MFA and how strong it is. So if you're doing a weak MFA captcha stuff, just stuff that's not really implemented very well, then yeah, that can be bypassed. Sometimes it's just as simple as, well, don't ask me for MFA. Let me just force browse my way past it. And it goes, oh, okay. So it all depends on the system. We are better at it nowadays, but still look for it. Like if you're doing security analysis, if you're doing some sort of pen test or an audit of some kind, you should still look for those things because we're still people. We still go, oh yeah, that's right. I had that in test and then I pushed it to prod, and that was a mistake. We need to fix that. So you still have to look for those things, but it's less likely nowadays. We have some more robust pre-built systems that you can just kind of modularly plug into your. You don't have to reinvent the wheel anymore as much as you used to, but some people still do. Therefore, that kind of can get you into the weeds unless you're really good at what you do. And even if you are, you're still not immune to making mistakes. So yeah, MFA can be bypassed. Yeah.
A follow-up question for you. Sorry, Jerry, I'm just going to take over and run with
the we are trying to help the whole community here. So
yeah. Do you consider TOTP codes as MFA?
Do I consider them as MFA? I mean, I guess yes.
All right. So let's keep cooking here. Guys, I want to bring on Kathy Chambers. Alpha Sierra called her to the podium and she accepted the opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, Kathy Chambers. How you doing, Kathy?
Good morning. Happy Friday. It's great.
Happy Friday.
Good
This week kind of came on quick, huh? I wasn't ready for this one.
Yeah, I had to come on because nobody was smiling. I thought that was lame. So.
Oh my God.
Less serious now. Less serious.
I'm here.
Yeah. Eric refuses.
I know.
Eric refuses. There we go. Eric
is just defiant to the end.
Before we go any further and start throwing questions at Kathy, I do want to say one quick shout out to everybody because something people may not know is that we at Simply Cyber Academy are actually running a free community workshop. We got 2 workshops to tell you. We're talking about MFA and hacking all the things. Right now, Ryan Yeager on July 29th, next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, is actually running a full Active Directory certificate services exploitation workshop. It's going to be free. We're doing it over Zoom so we can show you all the bits and bytes without getting a community strike from YouTube. So go check that out. I'll drop a link in chat right now. And then our very own Daniel Lowry, this guy right here, look at this guy. He's on the panel right now. He's doing a workshop on Intro to Virtualization with Daniel Lowry. Daniel, can you give us 30 seconds on this workshop, please?
Oh, yeah, sure. So basically, if you're like, hey, I'm kind of new to IT, I'm kind of new to building home labs, and that virtualization stuff looks a bit scary. It's got all these bells and whistles and dials and knobs to turn. I don't know what to do. Well, then hopefully I'll be able to help you out with that. We're going to walk through getting Workstation Pro from VMware installed, which can be fun in and of itself because they like to hide the installation file from people that are legitimate users of their system. I don't understand that. So we'll figure that kind of stuff out, and then we'll get it installed. We'll get it up and running. We'll create virtual machines. We'll work with the virtual networks, and we'll figure out all the little cool stuff that's in there so that you can have a great platform in which you can build your home labs on. And you don't need a type 1 hypervisor. Maybe you're not ready for that, going a whole Proxmox system. Just need to sit something on top of what you're already running, play around with some things. I like to mess with VMs. Anytime I have something to test, I like to just start a VM, get it installed, or have one sitting around that I can just throw things at. So that's kind of what this is for.
All right. Awesome, Daniel. Okay, let's keep the questions coming. Question for Kathy Chambers, who just jumped on the panel. Viper Nil has a talk coming up in a couple weeks. First time ever talk. Want some tips, pro tips, advice. They are nervous as heck. What can you say, Kathy?
I can personally relate. I also get super nervous when, and I do talks in front of small crowds, like in front of classrooms, and I still get nervous. And I had to look this up. I was like, why am I getting so nervous? I love to talk. I love to be in front of people, but for some reason I get nervous. I read a cool tip. It has to do it could be your breathing pattern. Like you're literally not breathing enough while you're up there. And I never thought about that before. Anyway, so that's kind of like a side tip. But the other tip is practice in the mirror. I know that sounds lame. Practice in the mirror, go through the whole speech, get a friend, get on a Zoom call, practice in front of that friend so they can give you some tips as well. And I think Daniel gave some advice in one of his shows recently and said, record it, right? Turn your camera on, record it, listen to it. And a lot of people don't like to listen to their own voice, but it'll be super helpful because you'll catch yourself saying, you'll catch your awkward pauses. You'll catch, and maybe you thought it was clear when you were writing your speech. And then when you listen back to it, you're like, wow, that did not make sense. Let me try that again. So those are my pro tips. But I thought the breathing thing was like super interesting. And I was like, maybe I am holding my breath and not realizing it when I'm talking in front of classrooms. So that's my next thing I'm going to try.
So public speaking is such a massive opportunity for personal branding and networking that I want to go around the horn with this particular question. Fleet is posting. Can you give us a tip? We're going to go around the horn, 30 seconds, everybody. What's a tip you got?
Sure. So if it's a virtual talk, find something that you can look at. So put a stuffed animal, put something to help you keep your eye or to talk to, especially if you're recording it and then it's being uploaded. If it's live, make sure that you watch what you're doing with your hands on the screen. It's very easy to get animated. When you're in public, if you're in front of the audience, it's a little less awkward and doesn't bother them as much to play with your hands when you're walking around, or Eric's head dancing. So yeah, I agree. Record that. When you're in person, do the same thing. Figure out where you're going to stand, figure out where you're comfortable. Do you have a confidence monitor or not? If it's in person that you can reference. If not, you need to rehearse, because it needs to sound natural. You don't want to be scripted when you stand up as well. So rehearsing helps. And then tell stories. Make it a story. Make your slides build on each other. Tell a story through your first 5-10 slides and then get to where you're going. So storytelling goes well. The audience stays with you when you tell a story. And then additionally, use humor and humility, because roughly every 7 minutes you have to change the topic because you lose people's attention after 7 minutes. So you have to be able to throw a joke, some kind of humor, or change this topic just briefly just to keep their attention.
All right. I also just started a poll really quick. Cyber Risk Witch had a question if people's spouses, partners, loved ones also work in cyber. So just we'll run that asynchronously. Eric, what's your tip for Viper Nil in the larger community here around speaking?
So you're going to, I hope I'm going to keep this under 30 seconds, but you have to figure out what your speaking cadence is, right? Like, are you able to go like look at a slide, talk about that slide for 30, 45 seconds, and then move to the next slide, or whatever. Find out what your cadence is. You're going to have to practice this, and it's only going to take time. And I'm sure Kathy and Daniel will admit to or echo this. Like, you're going to have to go through a couple of your speaking engagements to really figure out what it is, right? And then you're going to have to practice and rehearse each of those cadences, so that way you can come up with your whole thing. Me, it's bullet points, right? So like even when I do emails, I'm doing bullet point, so I get that complete phrase or thought out, and then I move on to the next one. Find out what your cadence is, practice that, rehearse it, then record it. Hate your voice, but learn from it, the experience.
Exactly. That's a great point. Hate your voice. It's so true. Daniel Lowry finishing the horn.
Well, Kathy likes to steal my thunder, but guess what? I got secret
got
number
more.
2.
You got
I got
more.
more. Yeah. This is not my first rodeo. Slow the hell down.
Yeah,
right?
that's a
Like,
good one.
This, yeah, right. See, everybody's like, oh yeah,
That
yeah,
was
that's it.
mine. So we're just gonna skip mine next. Go ahead, Daniel.
Right. Well, that and that's basically it. Like, don't try to word vomit. Right. Take a second, think about what you want to say, and breathe. And if you're doing all these things, you're going to be able to present normally. You're going to be able to present in a way that you would like normally be speaking to someone if you were just having a regular conversation. And that's ultimately what you're trying to do. You just want to have a conversation. You don't want to sit there and monotone. And this is the thing that I want to show you. And then the next thing you do is this. And then the next thing you do is that. You are not a robot, right? We are not AI. Be you. Feel good about taking a big deep breath and be like, all right, and admit you're afraid. Be like, whoa, man, there's a lot of people out here. I am super nervous, but that's cool. I'm still going to get this out. That allows you to take a big deep breath. That allows you to take over your system and reset and get control. Because when that heart starts pumping, that's really like that fight or flight response is kind of kicking up, and you need to be able to push that back down and go, no one's in danger here. No one's going to die. Okay. We can chill. You take that big breath and you slow down. You think about what you want to say, then you say it. And then going back to what Kathy said real quick, and I'll give it back to Jerry, is when you watch yourself, you're going to catch things like when you use filler words. All right. Right. You're going to hear that. It's going to be air apparent to you. And you're going to go, oh, why do I keep doing that? And it'll make you more aware of it. And when you're aware of it, when you go to say, next time you'll just stop and you have a nice little pregnant pause and you just move on with the next thing you want to say. So slowing down, knowing that you say, a lot or whatever it is, and then you hit those things and you stop. And now I can move on because I didn't have to say, I just took a little break instead. And it really gives some good dynamicism to your presentation. It's going to be better for it.
Before
fun.
Jerry goes, I want to add something to that real
Yeah, if I
quick.
can as well, right after that. Sorry.
The filler word, sometimes just ask a question. A rhetorical question can help you break that heartbeat and that too. If you just ask a rhetorical question to allow you to pose a question, take a deep breath, let them answer it in their head, and then go on.
All right, Eric, since you
So real quick, you will find through this process that you go through, you're going to speak a lot more eloquently and to other business professionals. And what I have found when I'm going through, instead of saying that and I need a moment, I tell the person I'm talking to, just a moment, I'm thinking that question through, so they just don't think I'm on the other end, just MIA or something. But this will help you overall speaking to everybody else, and people will perceive your conversations much better. So it's not just for speaking, it's got lateral movement.
I love it. All right. I voiced my opinion in chat just for the sake of time. Akeem says he's relatively new in the SOC and it feels like his technical depth is lacking. I smell imposter syndrome. Fleetus, you run a SOC, or you can run a SOC. What would you say to Akeem, who is...
It's imposter syndrome.
It is imposter syndrome. What would you say to Akeem, who's like in your SOC?
I was going to say, it is, yes, the SOC. I love it, Eric. Take it as an opportunity to figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are. You're going to have different strengths than the person beside you. That's why they hired you. It's called a team for a reason. You're part of a team. Yes, there's sometimes team of one, and we talk about that often on here. But if you're part of a team, you're going to be better, let's just say, at email analysis. They're going to be better at packet captures. They're going to be better at something else, and your strength. And you learn and you You learn from each other. It's that reverse mentorship I talk about, having that peer-to-peer mentorship. Learn from Daniel, learn from Kathy, learn from Eric, and then share what you know, because your life experiences is what added value to the SOC, because you're going to have a different perspective. You're going to look at it differently because of your upbringing, your formal education, etc.
Awesome. Really quickly, I do want to take a hot minute here. I have to put on the echo effect. Just a Bite is announced that they got a job in water as a cyber practitioner. So nail it, dude. Keep crushing it. Super happy for you. Obviously, definitely earned it and deserve it. So congratulations on crushing it like a boss. All right.
What an industry. That's like a whole other conversation.
What, water?
Right? Yeah, cybersecurity for water. I mean, they're getting attacked all the time. It's in the news
critical
constantly.
infrastructure. Yeah, the UK,
Yeah.
the state of New York just announced yesterday that they're going to be prioritizing cyber in the water infrastructure. If you ever have any questions about water or wastewater, do connect with Jay Crypto, aka Jay Gold, in chat. He's our resident water and sewage expert. All right.
I mean, if you're gonna have a title, why not that one?
This talk is just going down the drain. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh my God. Very nice, Fleetus. So CTI with Jay has a question around threat hunting. What should the end results be when doing data-driven threat hunting? I guess, Eric, have you done threat hunting?
I have not taught it.
Fleetus, you must do threat hunting.
I'm just getting the wording of the question. So they're wanting to know about data-driven. So
what would be the end result of threat hunting?
Yeah, so
just skip that.
All of your threat hunting is based on the data that you've captured or should have captured. So you find gaps both in what you've collected in your SIM, SOAR products, what's in your cloud. Are you piping it back to a central? The end goal is to maybe figure out and then map it back. I'm going to pick on MITRE or reference MITRE because I think MITRE is important to understand what techniques are used and get your heat map. Use MITRE Navigator to figure out, and then you figure out what attacks are coming at you. What is the threat actor? What is the adversary who's attacking you? And that data gives it to you. So you know to spend more time on credential stuffing, or you know that you see more phishing, or you see lateral movement. You know which adversary is using these techniques. We're not going to use that word, the real build, though. I appreciate you throwing it in chat. But back to the question here, you're really just trying to map. It's all about mapping out who's attacking you, and you want your data to give you that. And then when you speak with your executives, give out your bow tie reports or whatever your readout to your SOC director, your CISO, and the board. That's what they're looking for. They want to know who's attacking them.
All right. Thank you very much, Fleetus.
I have a quick story.
Okay,
so
go ahead. Story time.
Many years ago, before I got, when I was being introduced to cybersecurity, and I was hosting a show with Daniel Lowry. He was doing CEH course, and I was like the host asking the expert questions. And he said something about threat hunting, and I said, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, threat hunters." And I'm like, "That's a job title? That is like a badass title." Like, could you imagine me like, "Yeah, I'm a threat hunter." Like, to people who don't know, like from people from the outside, that's a cool title to have. So anyway, I jokingly was like, that's going to be on my business card. Like, I have
in my mind, Daniel Lowry has like a Dog the Bounty Hunter level, like full length leather jacket and in the sunglasses, and he's like, I'm Daniel Threat Hunter.
I don't do threat hunting. My brother did have a duster, so. But.
One more feedback for clarification too. The other thing that this allows you to have is this opportunistic, or is this just a spray attack? And I think your business needs to know that when you're hunting. Are you being targeted, or are you just part of a wider spray? Is it just because of the industry you work in, or is it because of something that your board just announced, funds you just raised? You get to understand from your hunting, is it opportunistic or is it just a spray attack?
All right. Luke Canfield dropping a fun question in chat. Are you going to DEF CON? And if you are, what villages are you excited about? Eric saying no, Fleeta saying no, Daniel Lowry saying no. Kathy, are you going?
No, I'm not going this year. I am not.
Jesus, this whole panel's not going. I will be there. So I guess, here, let me go full screen.
All by myself.
Jerry's going to represent everybody else.
So I will be there, Luke Canfield, and chat. I'll be there. I will be at Noob Village. So historically, I have gone to DEF CON in the past, it's a sea of humanity, and I'm old and curmudgeon-y now, so I go to DEF CON for like 4 hours Friday morning, and then I go to the Simply Cyber Community Meetup Friday night, and then I fly home. So I will be at DEF CON for a hot minute. I'll be at DEF CON Village. I will say, for anyone who's new to industry or new to DEF CON, I've gone to DEF CON like 15 years in a row. The villages that are like the coolest or whatever, depending on what you're into, Biohacking Village is pretty cool. I've seen some really interesting research done there. Social Engineering Village is like the belle of the ball. Everybody gets all geeked up about Social Engineering Village. You have to wait in line for like 2 hours. It's brutal, but it is a fun village. Car Hacking Village always looks really cool, but I haven't had a lot of great experiences there. Not that I had a bad experience. It's like, it's just people hacking on their computers. It's not really like a community vibe. And then I don't know if Hacking Village will happen this year, since CISA got defunded and all that. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, and there's a Privacy Village that's also quite excellent if you're looking for villages. And then obviously Noob Village is going to be Josh Mason's work, and there'll be a lot of Simply Cyber community people there. Also, announcing Red Team Village. I've gone to Red Team Village before. Tyler Ramsby, our very own Tyler Ramsby, will be keynoting Red Team Village does a panel for keynote, but he's part of that panel this year. So very, very cool stuff. Hopefully that helps all of you in chat. For someone starting for someone starting a services company providing vuln scans, assessments, security audit. Oh wow, it's full service shop here. How do you determine pricing for your services just starting out? Okay, so on this panel, I own a business. I know Eric owns a business. Daniel Fleetus, Kathy, I know you dabble. I'm not 100% sure. I will do private chat to figure out who wants to speak to this. I'll go first and just let you know. Ryusek, in my experience doing pricing, there is not really a good Google search you can pull. Pricing is literally kept close to the vest because that's how you compete with other people who are doing the same work that you're offering. You can have a really great service and charge way, way too much, and someone else has a good service and they charge less, and they're going to win the work. So pricing is actually where you do that market competition, why people don't really speak on it. Personally, what I will say in my experience is you kind of do lick your thumb and stick it in the wind and see what people say. I have priced things before, and I've had a client say to me, and I quote, "Holy crap, are you serious? I thought it was going to be way more than that. This is great." And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Okay. Good. And you cannot say at that point. You can't say, wait. I was joking. It's really twice that. So
you should have been like, well, you're a new client. I wanted to, I really like you. I think I'm going to give you a discount on this one. That's why I went so low with you.
And that's why we should have Daniel Lowry working over here in sales and marketing. So anyways, you basically just keep increasing the price until you get a pushback from a client where they're like, whoa, that's a little too much. Can you give me a discount or something? And that's where you dial it in. Let's see. Right. So we're going to pass. Any other final thoughts, Fleetus? You said you had one quick comment. You want to do this while I queue up the next question?
The only thing is it's a bidding thing. Anyone who's done services, you bid out the work. So the more you do, the cheaper per item. Like if I'm doing a vuln scan and an assessment and a risk, you're going to get discounts. There's discounting that shows up. And to Daniel's point, if it's the first time you're doing business, you're going to give them a larger discount so you can get repeat business. You want to get in the door. So if your rate, let's just make it easy. Your rate's $250. You might charge them $200 for the first assessment per hour for that assessment. If your rate's normally $400, you might even cut it in half and say, I'll give it to you for $200 just to get you in. But you have to be careful on overbidding and underbidding on that point. But it's all bid work. So Black Hills does it. Others do it. That's why every time you go get an assessment, you give them the statement of work, and then you bid it out and you figure out. It's all based on the statement of work.
Yeah. And I will say, I know a couple companies that are more, smaller business boutique. I've heard this multiple times. Consistently, a pen test is typically what breaks the shell of the company for you to get in there and then expand on services offering. So if you can do pen testing, that is a great entry point. Typically, a lot of businesses will have to do annual pen testing for checkbox compliance. You can get in there on a discount, demonstrate your skill, your capability, your professionalism, and then start upselling them, or not upselling them, like you're slimy, but you can sell them additional services. All right. Just a reminder, everybody, we're about 5 minutes away from James McQuiggan's Simply Secured. It's another show we have here on Simply Cyber. I wish I could be like more. Here we go. Look at this. James McQuiggan's Simply Secured. This is in 5 minutes. We're going to go ahead and raid that in a minute, but we're going to keep answering your questions right now. This is Jawjacking. I'm being joined by this amazing panel of practitioners. Let me actually get you guys' names. You guys put all the work in to get your names up, and there we go. Look at this. Kathy Chambers Fleetus. Eric Taylor is repping me. Thank you, Eric Taylor.
You're welcome.
That's very
User
nice.
impersonation at its finest.
I know.
So you just got to put the Spider-Man outfit on and point at each other, right?
TJ Williams asks, will I be bringing the Simply Cyber flag to the DEF CON meetup? Absolutely, I will be bringing it. It's we have multiple meetups throughout the year, but the DEF CON one is like, I guess the Simply CyberCon is the penultimate one, but the DEF CON one is the OG super meetup. So anyone that's going to be there is going to be great. I love it. SCole07, by the way, an update on SCole07. He briefed the executives the other day. He asked for feedback during Jawjacking and then gave an update. He crushed it. Okay. If you want to pick up extra work, how would you suggest getting another contract position or getting a job in the private sector? So SCole07 is looking to like basically get a second job. I mean, I think you just follow the path of getting another job. Maybe use your network, ask people if they have like overflow work. Sometimes that happens in consulting. Fleetus, you're nodding. You got any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's really, you just start asking people. Like if you're a consultant, you say, hey, you introduce yourself. Hey, my name is, this is what I do. Can I help you? Hey, my name is, this is what I do. Can I help you? And eventually word of mouth will get back. Hey, I know a dude, Fleetus can help you with that. And you pick up a side gig. If that's what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get a permanent, like you go out to job boards, you start networking. Who's looking for 6, 8 months, 10-month engagements? And long as it fits your current schedule, you're good. If most of the time overlapping is your problem. Like if they need you during the daytime and you have a daytime, that's a little hard to do.
All right, there you go. 100%. It's relationship building. It's networking. We're just a couple minutes from Simply Secured's premiere. So let's do this really quickly. Everybody on this panel is doing amazing things. You may have just met some of these people on the panel for the first time, but I've known them for years, and I can tell you definitively these people are amazing people. Let's hear what they're up to. Daniel Lowry. What should people know about Daniel Lowry?
Oh, man, Daniel Lowry's a busy man. That's what they need to know about him. I slept like I would died last night. I was so tired. And I think that's probably true for a lot of us. But right now, obviously, day gig, Antisyphon training, making content for them, for the YouTube, doing live streams, hosting webinars, lots of cool stuff going on over there. Obviously, I got my first workshop with them going on very soon. So that's what's going on. And then, of course, I also have 2 live streams that I'm now doing. It used to be just 1, but no, we have cracked into 2. I'm in, double live stream land, I guess. That's a good name for it. Double live stream land. I like that. We have Cybercast IRL at 10 a.m. today, right after Jawjacking. And then I have Cybercast After Dark on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. So
there you go. And for those who don't know, this is what it looks like. It is Cybercast IRL. It's at 10 a.m. So we're going to do the panel right now until 9:30, then Simply Secured, then Daniel Lowry IRL. It's my goal, whether it's Simply Cyber or it's Friends of Simply Cyber, is to give you as much content as you can possibly handle because it's all wicked awesome. Kathy Chambers, what do you want to share with us?
Good morning. Yeah, I work full-time at Antisyphon training at Black Hills with Daniel, project manager. So all the workshops and pay what you can trainings and anti-cast, all of that comes from me. I set all of that up. Well, it doesn't come from me, but I'm the person behind the scenes making all that happen. I also work with Jerry from time to time and help him with some of the podcasts and getting those up and running. And I am a PhD student at the University of Florida, working on a PhD in agriculture with a research focus of cybersecurity in agriculture. So I, too, am very busy. And then I try so hard to support everybody in the community when they're doing something great, doing something new. So here to be your cheerleader, cheer you on.
Awesome. Thank you. Eric Taylor, what do you want to share with people?
I'm just here to be a curmudgeon.
All right. Delivering on the promise, Eric Taylor. No, he's great. He's doing his. What about your biweekly webinars, dude? Tell us about
Oh,
those.
so I mean, yeah, we got there's a lot of people who want to learn how to do your 365 tendency. So we do bi-weekly Fortify 365 training going through phase 1 of CIS. It hasn't been talked about much, but a lot of times people will click on our ads and, hey, my Facebook has been hacked, my LinkedIn is hacked. So we've come up with a page called Breached or securitybreach.com. It's in early development. So
Okay.
walking consumers how to recover their personal stuff. I mean, we've literally got like a 30-minute TED talk of all the stuff we got going on. It's crazy.
Awesome. Securitybreach.com. Drop a link in the description. Fleetus, we got about 15 seconds, bro. Tell us
Sure.
what can we get excited about with Fleetus?
We can try. So I'm still looking for full-time work. So if you got something, let me know. I'm still working on content myself. I have a channel. I'm working on some content for Black Hills, working on some content for Simply Cyber right now. Those should be coming out later this summer. And then, as always, just giving back, looking to possibly do a cybersecurity for marketers webinar here soon with some
Ooh.
marketing firms who are looking to add cybersecurity to the marketing area. I think that's important. And I will second Kathy that this is a great community and we're here to help network and support each other. So let us know what you're doing and we'll gladly attend and help where we can.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Love it, love it, love it. We are going to go right now over to Simply Secured. It's James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet, the same James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet's own podcast on the Simply Cyber Media Group. We're talking about blending bites and barley. So if you like beer, if you like cyber, this is going to be the stream for you. I've gone ahead and pinned it in YouTube chat right now. So go over and raid. The party keeps on cooking. And don't forget at 10 a.m. right after that stream, Daniel Lowry. So the party keeps on cooking. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Thank you all so very much. And until next time, stay secure.